flag ceremony. This is a story from 30 years ago. Many kids in those days took part in scouting. Girl Scouts had great adventures, but this tale is about boys and men. Little boys belonged in Cub Scouts, bigger kids in Boy Scouts, and up to explorers with canoes, red sashes, and berets. They went to Camp Aliquippa, a few hours away in the forest beside a lake. All got together in scout jamborees, like fairs in the county park with booths and streamers. The hubbub of hundreds of boys darted from a roar to pure soprano. The boys ate from paper plates and picnic pavilions. They stuck close to their friends in the crush of identical uniforms. On a hill in one town, there were 3 scout troops, meeting at the public and Catholic schools and the Methodist church. From downtown, near the mills, you drove up a bluff, then over a bridge across a ravine, then up a long rise past many houses. The houses had backyards for kids along cinder alleys. Oil had been drilled in those backyards. Trolley tracks still lay in the brick of the avenues, but buses worked the routes over the hills. One scout pack in Grandview Troop met in the home of Mrs. Satterton, the den mother, and other mothers helped her. Their boys were cubs and played at the kitchen table. They made leather coin purses and clay things. They partied with balloons using helium. They walked entranced around dinosaur bones. At the ballpark, they cheered Roberto Clemente when he threw straight home to nail a runner. Mrs. Satterton entertained them for 2 years, and that was enough. Now that the boys were a little older, a man would be good as a scout leader, all agreed. But the men of the town worked hard in heat. Their leisure interests were remote from the woodlore of scouting. Hiking was not done. Men met in bars to gossip. A hunting trip for men involved a cabin and a lot of whiskey. Then a volunteer came forward with his son. Mr. Slate was new in town and worked as a guard in the mill. He was a hunter and would take the boys into the woods. His son Ted would join the pack and get more involved in his new hometown. The boys of the pack met Ted in school. He was a gentle giant, mild and shy. John Feller was a Cub Scout who played with Ted. He was a near neighbor, and Ted showed a lively interest in frogs. John went into their home and met quiet Mrs. Slate, who stayed in the house in an apron fussing at the stove and thought they should leave before Ted's father got home.